Hello, and welcome to Point of View, where we give students a place to listen, learn, and lean in. We're your hosts, Emerson, Jonah, and Avi, and today we're focusing on the 2024 presidential election. One of the most critical and closely watched races in recent history. We'll cover everything from the debates that have sparked national conversations to the key rallies energizing voters across the country. We'll also dive into the candidates' stances on the big issues and take you through a timeline of major events, starting with President Biden's decision to step aside. The timeline leading up to the 2024 election began with President Joe Biden exiting the re-election race in July of this year. Biden, though facing public speculation about his health, stated his decision was not health-related, but rather to, quote, avoid becoming a distraction. Soon after, Vice President Kamala Harris announced her candidacy, rapidly securing support from Democratic leaders and launching her campaign with a focus on healthcare access, climate change, and economic equality. In a notable event in July, Trump survived an assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally, but resumed his campaign with renewed energy and leveraging the incident to solidify his image as a resilient leader. Through late summer, both candidates gained momentum, and by August, Harris had secured the Democratic nomination, gaining endorsements and emerging as the frontrunner in a competitive field. In September, debates and polling trends revealed shifts among key demographics. Harris and Trump were nearly tied on issues affecting low-income voters, but Trump led on economic policies for wealthy and veterans, while Harris was viewed more favorably among women and younger voters. As the election draws near, both candidates are ramping up rallying efforts in battleground states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona, seeking to win over undecided voters. These events, combined with ad spending and social media outreach, have showcased the candidates' divergent platforms. Both Harris and Trump continue to shape their narratives as they work to secure votes across America, marking the 2024 election as one of the most closely watched in recent history. With this brief timeline out of the way, we're going to go into a deep dive about both candidates. We'll talk about subjects such as alignment on key issues, the impacts of their vice presidential selections, polling, and much more. Beginning with alignments on key issues, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump vary greatly in their political beliefs. On the economy, Harris proposes a progressive tax policy aimed at large corporations and the wealthy to fund social programs, while Trump emphasizes tax cuts, deregulation, and a strong America First economic policy. Harris's economic platform seeks to support middle-class growth, while Trump prioritizes job creation through reduced government oversight and tariffs to protect American industries. In healthcare, Harris supports expanding the Affordable Care Act with a public option to increase accessibility, whereas Trump advocates for a free market approach, aiming to reduce costs through competition and deregulation. Climate policy is another dividing line, with Harris pushing for aggressive action on carbon emissions and renewable energy investment, while Trump focuses on energy independence through fossil fuels and lighter environmental regulations. Immigration policy continues to be a polarizing topic for the candidates. Harris favors a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and more humane policies at the border. Trump, on the other hand, continues to prioritize strict border security, advocating for the completion of a border wall and more merit-based immigration system. Their foreign policy stances also diverge. Harris supports re-engaging with global allies and addressing issues through diplomacy, while Trump maintains an American First stance, favoring bilateral trade deals and limiting foreign involvement. In terms of social justice, Harris champions criminal justice reform and police accountability, while Trump emphasizes law and order, advocating for stronger policing and traditional values. When it comes to voting rights, Harris supports expanding access to the ballot and safeguarding elections against suppression, contrasting with Trump's support for school choice and job training as an alternative to free college. Both candidates' platforms are firm in their beliefs on key issues, and that fact has remained constant for the entire election process thus far. Now we're going to move on to the vice presidential candidates in the 2024 election and the impact they've had on the election process thus far.
The 2024 presidential election features a lineup where the choices of vice presidential candidates plays a pivotal role in shaping voter decisions. Donald Trump's choice of J.D. Vance as his running mate, alongside Kamala Harris running for president with Tim Walz, shows each ticket strategically using their VP selection to appeal to a diverse voter demographic and regional interests. Trump's selection of J.D. Vance, a U.S. Senator from Ohio, emphasizes a focus on Midwestern voters and the working class base that was central to Trump's 2016 and 2020 campaigns. Vance, known for his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, brings an appeal to economically distressed communities in states like Ohio and Pennsylvania. His story of rising from a challenging upbringing to success resonates with Trump's message of economic renewal and American resilience. Vance's presence on the ticket also helps Trump reach a younger generation of conservative voters, reinforcing a message that focuses on economic opportunity and conservatism. As a senator, Vance has taken stances aligned with Trump's America First agenda, advocating for stricter immigration policies and economic nationalism, making him a suitable partner for Trump and appealing to right-leaning voters. Conversely, Kamala Harris's decision to run for president with Tim Walz as her running mate is aimed at blending national appeal with regional expertise. Harris, serving as vice president in the Biden administration, brings a focus on social justice, civil rights, and healthcare, issues that are central to the Democratic agenda. Her candidacy is significant for maintaining the support of key Democratic constituencies, such as African American voters, women, and young progressives. Meanwhile, Walz, the governor of Minnesota, adds regional balance to the ticket. His experience as a former U.S. congressman and state governor allows the campaign to emphasize a message of steady governance and economic management, which is crucial for appealing to voters in the Midwest. Walz's presence is strategic for winning support in swing states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and his home state of Minnesota. His background as a leader who has navigated economic challenges, healthcare access, and education. His background as a leader who has navigated economic challenges, healthcare access, and education reforms helps to complement Harris's national platform, presenting a balanced ticket that aims to unite different factions of the Democratic Party. This partnership aims to reassure moderate voters who may be concerned about shifts while maintaining a focus on core Democratic values like healthcare and economic equality. Ultimately, the selection of Vance and Walz as running mates will be a very important factor for voters and could be the bump that candidates need to reach 270 electoral votes and win the election. As the election process continues, one of the key factors that candidates needed to nail were the debates, and both candidates did their best to appeal to undecided voters. On the Republican side, Donald Trump's performance in the primary debates were marked by his recognizable assertiveness. He faced challenges from contenders like Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, but maintained a strong presence on issues such as the economy, immigration, and national security. Trump's debate style has remained direct and confrontational, which energizes his base, but also draws attention to the stark contrast between his platform and his opponents. His general election debate against Harris focused on the economy, foreign policy, and healthcare. Trump presented his vision for continued deregulation, increased border security, and a strong America First foreign policy. Kamala Harris, coming into the Democratic primaries after Joe Biden's decision to not seek re-election, didn't face stiff competition and secure the Democratic nomination comfortably. Harris centered her messaging around healthcare reform, climate action, and social justice, positioning herself as the candidate best suited to carry on the work of the Biden administration while pushing for further progress on issues like voting rights and economic equity. Her debate with Trump in September was viewed as a high-stakes showdown, with Harris emphasizing the importance of protecting healthcare access and combating climate change. Past the debate front, rallies have also been a key part of both campaigns and could make the difference in this increasingly close election.
Trump's rallies are energetic and have become significant media events. His speeches often focused on economic growth, immigration, and the idea of restoring America's global standing. These rallies have attracted large crowds, especially in key battleground states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Florida. Trump's recent rallies have emphasized themes of economic recovery, national security, and his vision for a stronger, more self-reliant America. He continues to focus on issues like inflation, promising to bring jobs back to the US and cut taxes for businesses and middle-class families. Harris, in contrast, has used rallies to build a connection with younger voters, women, and minority groups. She has hosted key events in key states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona, where issues like healthcare, climate change, and social justice resonate strongly with the electorate. Harris has also spoken about expanding voting rights and addressing systemic inequality. In her rallies, she has highlighted the importance of unity and building on the accomplishments of the Biden administration. Her speeches often include calls to action for voters to get involved and ensure their voices are heard at the polls. Both campaigns have used rallies to drum up enthusiasm and turnout, particularly in battleground states where voter mobilization will be critical to determining the outcome of the election. As the election draws closer, these rallies will remain essential for both campaigns as they seek to sway undecided voters and solidify their respective coalitions. With all that information out of the way, we're going to talk a little bit about polling projections and how the race is shaping up with Election Day less than a week away. The 2024 presidential election is highly competitive, with electoral and polling projections playing a central role in guiding campaign strategies. These projections offer insights into voter preferences, regional dynamics, and the issues that resonate with most of the electorate. For Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, polling data shows strong support among rural voters, working-class communities, and conservative-leaning states. Their campaign emphasizes a return to economic policies that prioritize American manufacturing, energy independence, and stricter immigration controls. Polls indicate that Trump's core supporters remain loyal, despite controversies and legal challenges that have emerged throughout the campaign. His messaging around economic dissatisfaction and critiques of the Biden administration's handling of inflation resonate strongly in states like Ohio, Florida, and Pennsylvania, where economic concerns are at the top of many voters' minds. Trump and Vance's strategy hinges on maximizing turnout in rural areas and among suburban voters who may feel disillusioned by recent economic challenges. Their focus is also on battleground states like Georgia, Arizona, and Wisconsin, where even slight shifts in voter turnout could influence the overall result. Polling trends in these states are closely monitored, with Trump's campaign making targeted appeals to working-class voters, especially in regions impacted by manufacturing decline and shifts in agricultural policy. For Harris and Walz, polling data suggests strong impact in urban centers, among minority voters, and among younger progressive demographics. The campaign is focused on maintaining the coalition that helped Joe Biden win in 2020, particularly among African American and Latino voters in key states like Michigan and Nevada. Harris emphasizes continuity with Biden's economic recovery policies, healthcare expansion, and civil rights initiatives, which aim to resonate with voters who prioritize social equity and access to essential services. Meanwhile, Walz's appeal as a Midwestern governor complements this message by focusing on local economic concerns around regional stability, helping to target voters in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and other nearby states. Harris and Walz's strategy involves heavy investment in voter outreach and mobilization efforts in battleground states, with a particular emphasis on turning out voters in states like Pennsylvania and Arizona. The campaign is also aware of the need to appeal to independent and moderate voters who could swing the election if they feel disillusioned by the more polarizing ideas on either side. As a result, their messaging balances progressive values with a focus on economic recovery and governance. Both campaigns are acutely aware of their electoral projections can shift rapidly based on events such as debates, economic developments, or shifts in public sentiment. As such, they adapt their strategies based on the latest polling data, focusing resources where they are most needed. In a highly polarized environment, the outcome of the 2024 election will likely hinge on voter turnout, the effectiveness of messaging in swing states, and the ability of each campaign to capture the middle ground in an electorate divided among ideological lines. As both sides compete for the decisive 270 electoral votes, the race remains a tight and closely monitored contest. The 2024 presidential election is shaping up to be one of the most consequential in recent memory, with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump offering two distinct paths for the country. From the drama of debates and rallies to intense voter outreach, the stakes couldn't be higher. As both campaigns push hard in the final stretch, voters are left with a decision that will set the direction of America for years to come. We encourage all listeners to go out and make their voices heard through voting. Regardless of which candidate you believe in, the crew here at the Point of View podcast believe it's important that everyone's voices are heard. This concludes this episode of Point of View. Thank you so much for listening. For a transcript of this episode, head to the Point of View tab on our website, nhsmessenger.org, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at NHS Point of View for updates and new episodes. We've been your hosts, Jonah, Avi, and Emerson, and this has been Point of View.